Women on the Move, business women and entrepreneurs who cultivate, inspire, and lead in their field.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and your business.
I am PacePoetry. I am an international author and I am a poet, spoken word poet. I live in the city of Houston, and during that I actually host at Dose, that is in Barker Cypress. Well, that's in Cypress actually, but it's off of Barker Cypress in 529. And I also perform on Sundays at the Engine Room as well. But mainly my business is my brand, which is PacePoetry. And I am branding myself as an author and as a poet, and also as a writing consultant to help others reach their goal and live out their dreams as far as writing their books, and also those who are poets and want to get on the poetry scene. Some people I've helped, who hasn't performed in a while, and they started back by me helping them out and, just encouraging them and things of that nature. So I like to say that my business is my brand, my PacePoetry, me doing all of those facets as far as with my writing, and also helping others see their gifts as well and using them.
Awesome. Tell us a little bit about the experience of writing your own book.
That was an experience. See, my book is called Awakening the Pace of Love, and it's actually a memoir. It's crazy because I really thought my first book would probably be like a book of poetry, but no, something was just like, you need to write the book about yourself. And I was like, I don't want to. But it was something that just kept pushing me, mainly after one of my last heartbreaks. It just kept saying, this is what you need to do. You need to go ahead and tell your story. And so it was a long process. It was actually 3 years in the making, because on top of me writing, I am a teacher. So I'm a full-time teacher, and of course a mother of 2 boys. So, and then balancing that and then grad school, it was a lot. But the process was worth it, because the first time I finished it, I thought I was finished, and then I sent it to my professor, and he was like, oh, you probably need to go back in there. So I went back in there, and I was just like, I definitely didn't release. And so my book actually became therapeutic for me. It was how I was able to heal from all the wounds that I caused on myself, actually. A lot of times we play victim for so long that we think that we're the victims all the time, but a lot of times we let a lot of things happen to us. And so it was my healing moment to finish that book and actually close all the chapters that were still open inside of me. So it was my healing.
That sounds very inspirational, and I think a lot of women and men can grab a lot from what you went through, especially as they're going through their own relationships, right? Because we all go through them. I want to ask you a little bit about being a woman in poetry. What does that mean to you? What does it mean to you to be a Black woman in poetry and in the arts?
Being a woman, and on top of that, a Black woman in poetry, is something. Like, you really have to make a name for yourself. And I didn't really get it at first when I was just tapping into it. But now that I've, became completely engulfed in it, it is a challenge, because a lot of times you notice that, are you really listening to my words, or are you just looking at me? And sometimes we may get overlooked, and you have to really, as women, really in this art form, you really have to push through those barriers and like make yourself known and give yourself that what's the word? That moment where it's just like, you have to listen to me. Not just look at me, but no, you need to hear me out and listen to my words. And so far, I will say that I've been able to break those barriers to where I'm not just considered, the sexy poet. You hear what I'm saying, pretty much, because I give you all facets when I'm writing. I mean, most of them be like, you're the angry woman, but it's okay. I'm okay with being called the Mary J. Blige of poetry. I mean, but at the end of the day, I write from experience and I write from my heart. And so I'm not just giving you the relationships, I'm giving you, things, dear to me, with having 2 sons and, also, the stereotypical things of Black women, and I'm giving you all aspects of things and women coming together. So I was able to push through those barriers to where, even though I can't say that it's a male dominated field, but you can say that it's mainly the men that's the forefront a little bit. And you have to, as a woman, like, you really have to stand on your own and push through that.
Right. So how do you collaborate with other female poets?
To be honest, I have yet to collaborate, with the poem, but with others, like, I embrace them. Like, you'll be surprised how crazy the poetry world is, and how, it can be a lot of drama going on, but I try to steer away from that, and I embrace everyone. And honestly, with the women, I have yet to have a problem. We embrace each other. We cheer each other on. It's just like with just the women, for sure. Like, we are like so encouraging of each other, so I love just being a part of, the rest of them. That's why it's like, sometimes it's just like, even if I'm not even going there to perform, sometimes I just have to be in the presence and, around it. And so we are like a unit, as to say, with the women in the poetry.
How would you advise other women who are interested in getting into poetry to get started?
What I would say is to do it. There is no process at all. I didn't start out being, just great at the performing aspect of it, and I will say this, there is a difference between you actually just being able to write poetry and you being able to perform it. Everyone is not on that performance level and may not be on that performance level. My favorite poet, Nikki Giovanni, is not a performer. She can read her poetry and will still feel something from it, but she's not a performer. But if you are looking to grace that stage in a way like I do and others, do it. Get your feet wet and just keep practicing on it. Like, to me, I feel like I'm finally getting to the point to where I'm more comfortable on stage. I'm actually delivering my poetry the way I'm writing it. And even if I mess up a line, you won't know that because I know how to flip it, So that's my advice. Just do it, because at the end of the day, if you don't, you're going to always be like, oh, what if, or I could have, or I should have, and I would have. And why live like that? Because you don't know who's going to be out in that audience to see what you have to deliver, or someone, not to just say that to give you that stepping stone for you to get to another level, but also to just get that message. I tell everyone that I talk to, I say, someone needs to hear your message, period. So why are you keeping it to yourself?
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. I love that. I love that so much. So tell us how we can get in contact with you.
You can get in contact with me on all my social media. It's PacePoetry. That's PACE Poetry. That is Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat. But and also my website is www.pacepoetry.com, and also my YouTube is Pace Poetry. So everything is Pace Poetry to get in contact with me.
How can we buy your book?
You can buy my book. You can go to my website at pacepoetry.com. Also, if you just forget that, you can always find it on Amazon. And again, that is Awakening the Pace of Love, and it will say by Pace Poetry. So, and you also barnesandnoble.com as well.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being
Thank you for having me.
We look forward to seeing you on PacePoetry.com.
Thank you. Thank you.